Hello, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Banter, the podcast aimed at bringing you your dose of murder relaxation. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode.
I think people are here for the murder, so let's get to the murder. Or potentially not murder, we don't know, right? Some things are a mystery.
Will not disclose that information. Okay,
it's an ongoing investigation. So.
All right, well, I guess we're just gonna get right into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to, I think, episode 6 of the True Crime Banter podcast. I actually don't know. Yeah, if you want to look that up.
Okay.
I am here with a special guest, Christian and Tito. We are recording this for YouTube, but you know what?
Episode 6.
Oh, this is episode 6.
Now confirmed.
Okay.
My sources have confirmed it.
Oh, allegedly episode 6.
Allegedly. Nope, confirmed.
Oh, okay. Confirmed by Ian Rappaport. Episode 6 of True Crime Banter. Like I was saying, though, we're recording this on my iPhone because I didn't want to set up my camera. And
you got to do what you got to do.
And I don't know if it's going to turn out very well. So
That's
if
okay.
it
I
turns
feel like
out,
there's probably a lot of people recording on their iPhones.
Yeah.
That we don't even know about.
But if it turns out like shit, I'm not going to upload it.
If it turns out like shit, we'll blame it on that.
Exactly. It's the iPhone.
If not, awesome.
All right. So you guys can see us on YouTube then. Christian's got our dog, Tito, sitting in her lap.
Yeah.
I am sipping on some Tennessee Fire while Christian has a Flamingo cup.
Yeah, it's a concoction of Tito's and White Claw. White Claw's great by itself, but sometimes it needs a little,
And a little squirty squirt.
And a little squirty squirt, some little flavoring in there.
Flavoring. Anyways, today we're going to be going over the disappearance of the Panama hikers, or I don't know. Some people, what would you refer to them as? Some people call it the Photo 509 because there is a missing photo involved. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
The Dutch students gone missing. I think we kind of, the Panama hikers is kind of how we refer to it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be, I don't know, whatever you want to call it what you want. We're just going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
So let's begin.
Are you going to let people know that I kind of chose this-ish in a roundabout way?
Oh.
I was kind of given rein to kind of...
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you. Go ahead.
Okay, so actually, before we actually get started into the story, I do want to let you guys know that, I don't know, about a week ago, you came up to me. You were hanging out with your sister at one point. And
yes,
said,
we had been drinking and we had seen a Broadway play.
True.
As one does.
Very true, yeah. Anastasia.
On a Tuesday night, getting litty.
And Christian came home and said that she thinks she should be a part of the next episode. Well, she wanted to be a part of the next episode.
Yeah, but also we've been talking about this for a while now, that
this was
going to be kind of a duo thing at some point.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Joey kind of brought it up in the car. My sister had brought it up that she's like, you should join Riley on the next one. I was like, yeah, I think we had been talking about this for a really long time.
Right. No, I mean, this was something we talked about before I started the podcast.
I was going to say, where this even got started. Yeah.
I mean, we...
At some point. Whether we started it together or I joined you at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here we are, episode 6, confirmed by her earlier.
Yeah, and then I came home and was like, you know what, I want to join you on the next one. I don't really care what you have to say. It's happening, which is kind of how everything works with us.
My life lives.
Yeah,
if
right.
You guys can see me on YouTube. Please help.
Blink twice if you need me to save you. But I had looked for cases that intrigued me, and I mean, without getting too morbid, because I tend to like the more disturbing kind, without getting too crazy, this is something that has so many elements to it.
Yeah, this is
I
one
think
that
about this case at least like 2 times a week. I'm not even kidding you.
It's because it is one that you don't have really any answers to.
Right.
And I think...
Which bothers a lot of people, including myself.
Because most people, especially when you're into true crime, you just like to know what happened and then hopefully that the bad guy got caught.
Which is why I feel like there's kind of... I mean, there's so many different, like... What do you call it? Like
layers.
Subgenres, right? But like some people like certain parts of true crime, whether it's like unsolved or there are people who really like the unsolved ones because there is that element of mystery. And some people really thrive on that where they like not knowing. And then there's the people that are like, I don't even want to know the case unless I know who did it because there's no resolve and it's an OCD thing. I've kind of learned to be kind of both. Yeah.
No, you've learned to be any true crime.
That's true. Anything scary.
She listens to all true crime. Some of the worst true crime podcasts I've ever listened to.
Listen.
You listen to those religiously.
I know. Okay. But also, I've learned to really like the story behind the unsolved. So sure, maybe I don't know who did it. Could have been the weird old lady neighbor. Could have been
there's the
creepy guy
TV
across
series,
the street.
Unsolved Mysteries where a lot of people, and maybe it's the intrigue of, I wonder, is there a way that I could help solve it? Or like, do you pick up on something that maybe the people that have listened to it before you haven't picked up on, or makes
but even if you take out the whole element of like, maybe I'm not going to solve it, I don't have anything to do with this being a resolution. If you just take the whole element of like a storytelling experience behind it, right? Like sometimes the whole story behind how they went missing, whether it's like...
That's why you like Dexter.
But I didn't always love the cliffhangers. Sometimes you can learn to love it up until like, I guess what you would say the climax would be. But you can love all the way up until it, where you can be like, oh my God, their car was left on the side of the road. Their keys were left in the engine.
Right.
Their boyfriend had just broken up with them. Or there was, in their journal, there was a entry about a guy following them. Like, I love all that stuff.
That and the whole cliffhanger, no ending, unsolved part of it could be the reason why you remember it so much.
Right.
Because
all the
you're
details.
like, you know all the details, but you don't have an answer for all the details.
Yeah.
So
don't get me wrong, I still love the ones that have been solved more. I'm not like a...
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to judge you. Well, this is one, as you know, hasn't been solved. But it was picked out by you.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. If you guys enjoy this episode, you can thank
And if you
Christian
don't, just blame Riley. That's what I do.
And filming this on an
iPhone.
iPhone.
Continue
we're going to blame this on the iPhone. Is what we're going to do. Okay, so how about we just get right into it? So this story takes place in April of 2014. It is 21-year-old Kris Kremers and 22-year-old Lisanne Froon, both college students in the Netherlands. Kris was finishing her studies in cultural social education, while Lisanne had actually just graduated with her degree in applied psychology. Friends and family of the two young women describe Kris as a responsible and, creative, kind of like imaginative type individual. And Lisanne, she's the more fun-loving, outgoing, she was the athlete, is what they call her.
Sounds like a good balance.
Both were smart, caring, and intelligent girls that wanted to make an impact on others in the most positive way.
Which makes sense why they were there doing what they were doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The two of them, they lived in a dorm together in the Netherlands, and that's where they actually decided that they wanted to take an extended vacation halfway across the world together. And they wanted to do something that they could apply their, I guess, recent studies, but more humanitarianism type lifestyle or ideas.
Yeah.
They wanted to apply that to real life, something that they could like look back and, I don't know, in the future be like, hey, you remember that one thing we did?
Yeah.
That one time?
Maybe I missed this, but how old are they at this point?
21 and 22.
Okay.
So like fresh out of college.
Yeah,
in fact, I think Kris was still in school studying while Lisanne had just graduated.
Okay.
So this entire trip was going to be kind of like a graduation gift.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to save up for like
so
6
not
months.
super young, but still old enough to kind of know some
right,
stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
Still adults.
Yeah.
But still definitely learning.
Yeah. At our age, it seems like those are babies, but they're still old enough to kind of know some things.
Yes. Yeah. And if you guys are watching the YouTube video, I will let you guess what our ages are.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Don't zoom in.
I'm gonna block that. Anyways, so Kris and Lisanne, they decided to take a 6-week trip to Panama, which is that narrow little country in Central America, pretty famous for the Panama Canal, which is a waterway that connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean.
Capital is Panama City?
Possibly you.
I feel like that's the one thing I remember from 4 years of Spanish. Okay.
That sounds correct.
If I'm wrong, don't come after me.
So you said you took 4 years of Spanish. I took 3 years.
Okay, well.
And I remember.
Trust me, 4 years doesn't mean anything.
Trust me, 3
I was
years
only there for
less
than half of it. But go ahead.
Okay, well, I remember at the end of my 3rd year of it, I think it was going into our senior year of high school, there was an offer for us to go to like South America to practice Spanish. Did you ever get that in high school? No,
because I didn't go. No,
okay.
You were a way better student.
Well,
Tell me
it was
about
like
your
a thing offered to all people who did.
Okay,
who at least
the people who at least attended class. So go ahead.
Sure.
Tell
Anyways,
me your experience.
this as I was like researching this, it kind of brought me back because that was one of the things that Kris and Lisanne they were like trying to learn Spanish, so they thought they could use this vacation as like an opportunity to like really learn it. You know, a lot of people say, when you go to high school, you can learn only so much, but not until you're actually there.
Right.
Does it actually
you hear
apply.
about that people go to other countries and they learn way more from being submerged in the culture than actually in school. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're forced to know what you need to know at that point. But it made me, I was like, researching this, I had thought about that opportunity to go down there, and I didn't do it, but I had friends that went down there. Actually, like my entire class did, I think, of Spanish, and they did hiking and not rope climbs, but what's those things where you ride a rope from like one part of the forest to another part?
Oh, what is that?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I was just talking about this the other day because you can do it in Vegas when you
Right, yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
Like zip lines.
Zip line, there we go. Good job, everyone.
Zip
Team
lines.
effort.
We did it. Thank you, Vegas. Thank you, Vegas. So I thought about that because I was like, man, I mean, this trip is a little bit different, but I could have been down in like the same area, and who knows what could have happened to me down there. And,
what year was that?
2009.
Okay, so high school.
Yeah.
Well, our high school. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they decided to take this 6-week trip to Panama. Kris and Lisanne did.
Okay.
In Panama, they were going to spend their time hiking, volunteering, basically working with charities in the area because they wanted to leave an imprint on the future there.
Yeah.
Just like I said, doing something with humanitarian. That's a tough word to say.
No. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's way more than I ever did. That's awesome. Good for you guys.
It's more than I've ever done.
Yeah.
So the first 2 weeks of the trip down there was fine. No issues at all.
Yeah.
It was basically as planned. From what I researched, they were supposed to be helping teach something down there, whether it was English or teach something to some local tribe or children, and they were a week off.
That's what I was gonna say. I think I remember because you've done a lot more research on this than me. I've just listened to other people doing this case, and it's been a little bit. I think one of the things I remember is that they were either early or they showed up and then the people weren't ready for them.
Right, exactly.
So they had some time to kill.
Yeah, so they had their housing set up, but what they were actually down there to do wasn't ready for them to do so.
Yeah.
So they did basically have a week to kill,
which is kind of nice. You can do whatever.
I mean, if you want to do a little bit of partying.
Yeah, especially before.
What's the club scene look like?
The club scene.
I mean, Panama City.
Yeah,
I'm sure
especially when you don't speak the
wild
language. I'm sure it's popping. But also, if you, I mean, that's kind of a best case scenario. You're going to show up and do, you're probably going to get put to work at some point, and you show up and you're like, oh, what a gift. I have some extra time.
To do whatever
yeah, you can do whatever.
Want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what they were up to. And what they did, they decided that they were going to go on some hikes. Yeah. Which isn't weird or uncommon. Actually, that area.
Especially with the nice weather.
I was going to say, that area, there's a lot of popular hiking trails. Yeah. That
I'm sure a lot of people spend time outside down there.
Exactly.
All the time. It's always warm.
So, back to the story. I kind of lost.
It's okay. They got down there a little bit early.
Yeah. So everything was basically as planned. For the most part, it sounds like they weren't the type of people that were just fly by night. Go down and just we'll figure out, on these days we want to be in this city and on these days we want to be here, but what we're going to do there we don't really know. It seems like they kind of had an idea until this week of freedom came up, and so they were like, oh, I guess we can do whatever we want to do. Yeah. So they planned a hike. I think we've been talking about it. Yeah. On a popular hiking trail called El Pianista. So.
Did you happen to look at what that means?
Something about a piano man.
Da, 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 da.
Don't do it.
Sorry, I had.
No.
Sir William Joel.
Yes. No, it has something to do with. It's because the trail leads up to the top of a volcano in a way that piano keys lead up or something like that.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it has something I can't remember specifically, but it's
like
Stairway to Heaven, but Billy Joel.
But Led Zeppelin. Cool.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So El Pianista is actually one of the more popular hiking trails down there. It's one that Kris and Lisanne, they actually, what am I saying? They scheduled a guided tour, because they know how popular it is. But it's another trail though that you don't have to schedule the tour to do it. Right. You can do it on your own, or oftentimes you can just go to the trail and they might have a guide already there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I think that's another one of the few things I remember from this case from hearing it forever ago is that this was pretty well populated. It's something that people kind of did pretty frequently. You would think that there would be people you would see.
Right, and I'm sure, I know we're not active, we're not super active on Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, you will know that because I post only once per episode, and that's about it.
Listen, we're all a work in progress, myself included. Yeah, it's okay.
This trail sounds like the perfect Instagram hike because you get a good workout in. They say it's a 2 to 3 hour hike all the way up. Yeah. And then the view of it is, I guess, amazing. You can see over the Continental Divide, and you're basically, it's going through kind of they call it a clouded forest or something, but it's like a rainforest. It's not as.
I was going to say rainforest-ish. Exactly. I can't imagine that being an unattractive hike.
Right. Yeah. And so you hike up, you get all the pictures you want for Instagram. Yeah. But
although back then, how poppin' was Instagram?
I mean, 2014.
I thought you said they went when they were when we were in high school, 2009? What was 2009?
No, I was in high school in 2009.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That was a mix-up.
Right.
My bad.
No, this was.
Go ahead.
This was 2014. So this was not peak Instagram. No. Now it's probably peak Instagram still.
Maybe
but
a year or two
on the
ago
rise.
Even, but
on the rise. So they decided that they wanted to hike up this El Pianista. Is that what Pianista.
Whatever. We're working on it.
Not whatever.
No, we're working on it. Okay. All right. Give us some grace,
El
everyone.
Pianista.
We're all human.
And I actually took a note down here and I said, it's a popular hiking trail that leads its way up the side of a local volcano through what would be considered a dense, thick rainforest, up until you get to the top where apparently the view is to die for. Too much?
No,
too much.
not knowing what we know.
I did put
Where did you
no
see that
pun
on
intended.
Yelp? What was
I did
that?
put no pun intended.
Okay, well,
so,
I can't see the screen, but I believe you.
Okay, all right. Well,
but
anyway,
was that a Yelp review or was that you? What was
to be continued.
Okay,
So,
go ahead. Continue.
All right. So Kris and Lisanne, I always want to say Leanne, but it's Lisanne.
Yeah.
They scheduled a guided hike for April 2nd, 2014, on this El Pianista trail. But for some reason, they decided to go on their own on April 1st. So a day earlier than it was originally planned for them to do. And I don't know, maybe, they just had extra time. They didn't want to wait.
I can't remember what it was, but I remember seeing something about this and why they chose to go daily. I can't remember.
Yeah, it
but
could
it was
be a number of reasons. Maybe
I know that sounds
the
super
weather
legit.
was nicer.
Yeah.
But no, there were some legit reasons. I can't tell you what they were, but there were some legit
Listen, we're figuring it
out. So this is where the story gets kind of weird, because they scheduled this guided tour for the 2nd. They decide to go up on the 1st, and they actually, so they're staying at this.
Is that April Fool's Day then?
Gotcha.
Whoa.
That is. Every year.
Good catch, Christian.
Every year. You are quite the detective.
True, every year, but also on this year, kind of weird.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly
kind of weird.
This one.
Okay, continue.
So on April 1st, 2014, they're staying at this hostel where, if people don't know what a hostel is, it's like a dorm for tourists, I guess. That's how I think of it. Just a bunch of tourists that just find a place.
Definitely nothing close to a hotel at all.
No, definitely not. You're sharing one bathroom with 15 people and one bedroom with 30 people.
Yep.
So there's
sounds luxurious.
Exactly. But this hostel they were staying in had a dog that they decided.
This part I do remember.
I don't remember his name. I think his name was Blue.
Aww.
But
Baloo or Blue?
Just Blue, I think.
Is that Azul?
Maybe.
In Spanish.
Maybe.
My 4 years has served
me well. Could be Viernes. Or Lunes.
Just keep
Anyways,
going. Just keep going.
So they took this dog, Blue, and they went on the hike up El Pianista on April 1st by themselves. That was the last time that they've been seen.
Right, because the dog came back without them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're correct. They went up with the dog, and then the dog came back.
Yeah.
And they were not with the dog.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention this about the trail. So El Pianista is a trail that you hike up, you take your Instagram pictures, and then you hike back down the same trail you hiked up on. So it's like a
you just turn around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, we went to Lake 22 up here.
Yeah.
And it's very similar.
Highly recommend to anybody in the area.
Yeah. In fact,
10 out of 10.
Thinking about it, I mean, that was like a 2-hour hike?
Something like that. But that was also a turnaround. Some hikes, right? You kind of take like a horseshoe shape, right?
Where like the loop
the other half doesn't quite look the same.
Yeah.
Or there's hikes where you just turn around and you just go back the same way.
Exactly. Yeah. So this was one where, just like Lake 22, it's like a 2 to 3 hour hike up. You take your picture and then you just...
Obviously, it's way faster when you come back down.
Definitely.
But yeah,
much
sometimes
easier.
Half the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the weird... one of the first weird thing is that they go up, they leave with this dog. The dog comes back to town without them.
Yeah.
So
and they're like, what the heck?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that was the first thing. So the dog owner, the hostel people, they weren't too worried at first. They were like, well, maybe they, decided to stay out doing something else or
right. Well, I'm sure they're used to people coming through and probably not having super concrete plans. I'm sure they're used to tourists and people traveling and
so it's not like if you're at the hostel, everyone has to know where you are and what you're doing.
Right. Maybe you go to a party or spend the night somewhere or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of what they thought. They thought maybe they led the dog back and then went off and did their own thing.
Yeah.
Until they woke up the next morning, and if I remember correctly, there was breakfast set out for them to eat, but it never got touched.
Right.
And so that was...
Is that my false memory or something about their things weren't touched or something, like they checked in the room?
Right.
Right.
Pretty much. So they were able to verify that the girls never made it home that night, whether they were out with someone else, or whatever it was, they never made it back.
Yeah.
So when they realized that the girls never made it home, that's where like the locals kind of started to get concerned about something's not right here. Like none of their stuff is, like you said, touched. Their food wasn't touched.
Yeah.
They're obviously missing.
Yeah.
In some extent.
Right.
So they did like a little local search in that area, and kind of up the hill and into the trail just to see, hey, make sure nothing like bad happened.
Right. And I was going to say, I'm sure there's all kinds of people staying in these places, but if you check in these people and you know that, okay, they're here to do some kind of, I don't want to say mission, but job, and then you know that they have time to kill, but then they don't come back. It's not like they're on vacation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they
have a job to do and they never came back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not just
So there's a reason to raise the
around.
alarm
Yep.
versus someone else who's just chilling on spring break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when they bring the attention to the local authorities about, hey, there's these two girls from the Netherlands, and they went on a hike on their own, never came back. The dog did, which that was the first thing I was like, so how did the dog get back without them coming back? So from the very beginning, I was like, I don't really understand that, but I understand
because you're a cat guy. Dogs are hella smart.
I own a dog, and he's sitting in your lap.
By association. Anyway. Dogs are super smart.
True.
You don't think this dog over the years has been on hikes with a bunch of tourists that came through. Also, it's a local dog. He knows smell. He can smell his way back home.
And if it's a one-way trail.
And it's a freaking dog, so you already know he's a winner. He's gonna make his way back.
Whatever. Anyways, yeah. So they alert the authorities, and the authorities, they do their own, I guess, search and rescue teams.
Yeah.
They send them out up the Pianista Trail, and they're basically looking for these two girls. There's some skeptics that are like they didn't do a very good job, like they didn't utilize like thermal imaging or air support to, or proper air support, I guess, to help search for the girls. But it's also, not. It's Panama.
That's what I was going to say, is I'm not trying to, like, assume, but are there other countries that maybe are not as well equipped?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
They only have so many resources.
Well, to that point, so 2 to 3 days after the girls go missing, their parents have been notified. And they knew something was wrong because the girls, I guess, were constantly texting them every day, and obviously at one point they stopped receiving texts from the girls.
Yeah.
So they knew something was wrong. The Panama Police Department, or I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
They got a hold of the two girls' parents. Parents actually flew from the Netherlands to Panama and offered a $30,000 reward for really anything that like helped them find their daughters.
Yeah.
And from what I've researched, $30,000 at that time in Panama was like,
I was just gonna ask
a
you that.
good. One report said like worth $500,000 in modern day. Like you could actually buy like land or housing and support yourself off of that much money.
So definitely worth it to come forward.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And that is where, when you get into the small details, $30,000 is nothing to be like, oh, I could do without that.
Right.
So you would think anybody who could find anything relating to where these girls are at, they would try to.
Yep.
But it wasn't for like 2 months until they actually found something regarding where these girls are at.
Continue.
Right.
Keep
After
going.
These messages from our sponsors.
No,
Hi,
I wish.
name is Riley, and I am
No.
here with True Crime Banter.
That's
the
not
podcast.
Sponsored. That's just a fact. Nope.
I
think we're still learning what a sponsor is. Anyway,
Anyways,
here we go.
Yes. So 2 months later, a local tribal woman enters the local police department. And
I think I remember this.
Yeah,
Keep going.
and she has a teal backpack that belonged to Lisanne.
But
But
it was dry.
Oh, see? All right, you're skipping a little ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Sorry.
No, so
I
there
just
was...
remember that being like a creepy fact.
Right, so
yeah.
there was a tribal woman. She found this backpack while she was, I guess, like servicing her rice fields or whatever you do to rice fields. She saw the backpack on like a riverbank, and she said this was something that she works on like daily.
Right.
And so
she would have noticed it.
Right.
Yeah.
She said she's like 100% positive it wasn't there, whether it was the day before or the week before. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it was there.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was completely dry, which is weird because you're in a tropical area with like a rainforest and a river bank and a very like prominent river that runs through the entire country.
Right.
And it's dry. So weird. Weird.
Also, this might be skipping ahead, but I don't remember what was found in the backpack. Right.
Yes. So I've got a list of the contents that was found in the bag.
Yeah.
But not only what was in the bag is that weird, but where it was found is, I think, probably even weirder because this riverbank where this tribal woman found it was like a 12-hour walking distance away from where the girls were expected to be on El Pianista.
Which could mean so many things, right?
Yeah. Well, so it's the combination.
Take that so many different ways.
Yeah, it's the combination of everything together where these girls are on a hike up a hill and all their belongings are now found 12 hours away, but in completely dry, perfect condition.
Right.
So how did it get there without it being soaked? Anyways, so I guess we should talk about what they found inside the backpack. There was sunglasses. There was the girls' passports. Some, I want to say like bras, but like clothing.
No, I remember.
Articles of clothing.
I remember that being like a bra or swimsuit was kind of a weird.
Right, because there's a part of the internet that maybe it's like a Reddit where they're comparing pictures. So there was also a digital camera found in the bag, and they're comparing photos off that digital camera from that day and trying to see if like the bra that one of the girls was wearing was the same bra in the backpack.
Okay.
Because the question then is like, well, why is that bra off? Why is it in the bag? Why isn't she still wearing it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bra and I think other articles of clothing. There was like, I think they said like $80 in cash, which again, $80 down there could be a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then also both cell phones. So both of the girls' cell phones were in the bag. Everything pristine condition.
And there was nothing else found near it?
So
next to it?
So once authorities looked into this bag and realized, oh, this is the missing girls' bag stuff.
Wait, and one more time.
Yes.
How soon after their disappearance?
This is like 2 months later.
Okay, go ahead.
So over the next 2 months, so now 4 months later, authorities conduct their own research now into the area of where the backpack was found.
Okay.
Because they're thinking, okay, if their stuff is there, maybe we can find more.
Yeah.
And what they find, and again, this is within a 6-hour walking distance now of where the backpack is found.
So 18 hours? Because it was a 12 hours, right? Okay.
They find like 30 plus bone fragments and then a foot in Lisanne's boot.
True, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so like a dismembered foot still in the boot. They also found Kris's shoe separately. There wasn't like anything in it. But they did the like forensic research, verified that it was Lisanne's foot.
Yeah.
They also verified that of the like 30 plus other bone fragments, Kris Kremers' bones were found, Lisanne's bones, and then like 3 other people's bones. So like 5 total people
we've
involved
got some
here.
Mysteries
Right,
going on.
exactly.
Not just these 2 chicks.
Yeah, so they don't know who the other 3 are, but they
Yeah.
were able to confirm that it was Kris Kramer and Lisanne Froon. Now, the weird thing about the bones is that a lot of them were just fragments. So you might be thinking like 30 plus is a lot, but when it's a small little piece,
Right.
a single bone could
Exactly.
split up into
Yeah.
30. Part of it was like her femur, I want to say, or her pelvic bone, something along those lines. But there's forensic research that's tried to show that there weren't what they call scratch marks on the bones.
Okay.
There wasn't anything to show evidence that it might be like a scavenging animal that moved these bones around.
Yeah.
Which could be, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That could be, you could think that, oh, that's weird. How did they get there then if an animal didn't take it there? Who knows?
Because it is quite a distance.
Right. Yeah. But what they did say was that one of the bones was like sun bleached. So like was sitting in the sun for a long time. But then none of the other bones were. And none of it really made sense as to how one set of bones was one way, the other set wasn't, but it was all found in the same area. That's just like little offshoot facts about this case that are kind of like, they're not really true like evidence that something went afoul.
It's not too out of the realm to think that, like, if you had a pile of bones and maybe they were like kind of under a tree or something, that part of it's sticking out from the tree shadow, it gets more in the sun, but the other part doesn't. I mean, that's just nature. I mean, you don't know.
Out in the open versus bones.
I'm not going to read too much into that. That part of it's more bleach than the other. Whatever.
Yeah, that's where those are like small little facts that makes you just wonder.
Hung up on it.
Yeah. You can't tell for sure if something actually was, nasty going on. I don't know how you want to describe it.
I don't know.
Anyway, so in the backpack, I said there was a digital camera found. On that camera, they found a bunch of photos, and I think there was I don't know the exact amount.
This is the interesting part. At least I think the most interesting part.
Okay. So are you talking about? So on these photos, if anybody, this is like an older PowerShot Canon camera. I used to have one of these, and basically, I mean, even when you look in like the data, or I guess metadata of your phone pictures right now, they all have a number assigned to them, and every picture was taken, or every picture that gets taken has a new number, and it's sequential. And on the camera, it was like pictures 501, 502, 503. Well, it skipped from 508 to 510 and then kept going in normal sequence. So there's a lot of interest into what photo 509 is, if it was deleted on the camera or via computer, which as somebody who, has dealt with cameras, I guess, I'm not really even sure how that would work out, because I know you can like reformat cameras and it'll start the numbering process again, but I don't know if you can tell the difference between something being deleted directly off the camera versus post like editing. Now I don't know, is that the part that you thought was interesting, or are you talking about the contents of the actual photos themselves?
That's what I think I'm thinking.
Okay, because there's a lot of photos. One of the photos shows what looks like to be some sort of like blood on Lisanne's forehead. They don't know if it's Kris. So most of the photos are one girl in the picture, the other one's clearly taking the picture. So there's not really many photos of the two of them. Most of them are pretty normal. I mean, you can look them up and you can't really see a lot. But what gets weird is there gets to a point where there's a bunch of really dark photos that start getting taken.
Right. So, this is where I think it starts getting super creepy.
Right. So they don't know what these pictures are. It's clearly pictures of... Oh, you're looking it up right now.
Yeah, I'm looking it up because I want to see what you're talking about.
So a lot of the pictures are clearly... They're just very random pictures of what looks to be just the forest.
selfies and just posing for pictures.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like a bridge and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and
super scenic.
So here's the thing, mentioning bridges, they had these things called like monkey bridges that are...
that's exactly what it looks like.
Right, and so these monkey bridges, when you get to the top of the trail that they were on, there are other trails that are offshoots from that one, but none that like the national forest rangers actually guide people down. They're all like, hey, if you want to go down at your own danger, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And on those trails, to get across certain like waterways or maybe like cliffy type areas, they have like monkey bridges that they call, that are almost like three strands of rope, and you stand on one strand and you're balancing yourself with the other two, kind of, and that's how you kind of work yourself across it. So there is the possibility that they decided to go down these trails and, explore. Obviously, if they're feeling confident about themselves, and maybe that's what they did.
Right. Also, I think, too, when you're new to an area, you might not know the dangers of the area. If you're from around there, you might know, like, hey, let's not go down this certain trail.
Yeah, I guess
people have gotten hurt down here, but maybe you don't know that if you're not from the area. So you're like, hey, you know what, screw it, let's just go see down here, but you don't know.
Right, and actually that's a point I want to save kind of till the end, because it kind of plays into my thoughts as to what might have happened.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, a lot of people don't understand.
I think that's like a natural ignorance, though, if you're not from a certain area, unless somebody local tells you, don't go off the trails or don't do anything.
Yep.
I think we see that in some like B and C budget movies, like, don't go off the
don't
trail.
Do it.
Yeah, don't do
go
it.
Down there.
There's a creepy band in the forest or something. Then you're gonna be like, screw it.
You're not gonna want to go down that one.
Yeah, right. What's the worst that can happen? And then you find out.
And then they all die.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, except for the final person.
Yeah.
Yes, so back to the photos. Those photos, a lot of them are just your natural touristy type photos. And then you get to these photos that are just pictures of the trail. And there's a lot of speculation as to what those pictures are. And one of the, I guess, ideas or theories that I kind of subscribe to is that or I enjoyed thinking of, is that they're using the camera flash to help lead the way because they can't see.
Phones back then didn't have a flash.
So let's actually talk about the cell phones, because obviously they have the girls' cell phones, and they can now pull up records off the cell phones and see, kind of what was going on those days. I think here is where these cell phone records, they tell a story that we don't really understand or don't know for sure. So at one point, so these were an iPhone 4 and then iPhone and Samsung Galaxy S3. So modern day phones. So yes, they did. Actually, I don't know if they had the flashlight on the phones like we do now.
I feel like 2014 was still like...
It might have been right before
enough,
that, though. Yeah. No, it was advanced, but I know for sure you used to have to download a separate app on the iPhone
for flashlight.
Yeah, it'd be called like Torch or something like that. So it might have been prior.
Same with calculator. I remember calculator not being part of things too.
True.
I had to download a calculator app, at least on my crappy phone.
I mean, they still don't have it on the iPad, which is weird.
That is weird.
I mean, it's okay.
Come on, guys.
2022.
Get with it. Yeah,
here we go.
I need to add stuff up, so let's go.
So on the cell phones, they pulled up the records, and about 5 p.m. on the day that they disappeared, they have a bunch of 112 phone calls that are 911 calls where we're at.
The equivalent.
So exactly. Mm-hmm. So the emergency phone service. Clearly something was going on. I mean,
which is kind of a note, everybody out there. If you're wherever you are, you need to learn the 911 equivalent to wherever you are. If you're traveling, that needs to be one of the things that you need to know.
Yeah.
I'm locking that away as something, if I ever travel, which I'm not a traveler, but if I ever do, that's something I need to learn.
That's a good idea.
Away.
That's a good idea. And bringing up that point because if you take the time to learn what the local emergency cell or emergency phone number is, and you're having to call it, then one, something's going on. Yeah. But at least you know that that's the number you're calling.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you never plan to use it.
Now, if you're somebody, if you're these girls in Panama and you're calling 112, would there ever be a point that you would try to call 911?
No, because I'm not from America.
Or you're not in America at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
But even if I was, I don't even know if I would know 911 because I'm not from America.
No. I'm saying if you traveled to Panama.
Me.
Yeah.
I thought you meant them.
Yeah. If you traveled to Panama and you knew that 112. Right.
Not 112, but 911.
But if you knew that 112 was the emergency number.
But it's not. It's a Swedish. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's the local Panama.
Oh, I thought you were saying that's the Swedish one.
Oh, no.
That's why they dialed it.
No, 112 is the local emergency phone number.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was the Swedish version.
Or the Netherlands, the Dutch version?
Whatever. I'm so sorry. Once again, skip geography class, whatever.
And geometry.
Yeah, all that. Science, fossils, whatever.
And geology.
Yeah.
But, okay.
If I'm in the mountains,
right.
I thought they were dialing their native homeland because that's all they knew and they were scared.
No, so they're dialing the local down in Panama, 911, but it's 112.
112.
And now, if you knew that and you're dialing 112, would there ever be a point where you would say, screw it, I'm going to dial 911?
If 112 wasn't picking up.
Right.
Sure.
So, and in my head, I'm thinking, if that's the case and you're really needing to get a hold of 112, so you decide, I'm going to try 911, then something's actually going wrong. Something, whether it's someone's hurt, you're lost, who knows?
Right.
So that's actually what happened here is that...
Okay.
So they, like I said, they made their first phone calls around 5 p.m. the day that they actually disappeared, so April 1st, to 112.
And what time did they actually go hiking again? I'm sorry.
It was in the morning, from what I remember.
So they've been gone for a while.
Now, granted, this is a round-trip 6-hour hike. So if you left at noon or 10 a.m., you might still not be done by then. And
but if they're calling it before then something went wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of giving us now a timeline of where they're at. Or what's going on.
Right. So if they're calling it that soon, right? So you would assume they'd be on their way back by then.
Exactly. So on their way back,
so
or
either somebody got hurt or they encountered something. Right. Something happened. Because why would you call it if you're that soon, expected soon to be back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was a round of phone calls, dialed to 911 or 112 at 5 p.m. the day they went missing. The next day at 11 a.m., or right around 11 a.m., there was another round of phone calls that they made. Same thing, 112.
That's a really long time in between calls.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
What would that be, 7?
This is where...
18 hours?
This is where things get weird, because...
18 hours. 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
to 11 a.m.
Right, yeah.
So 7 to midnight, right?
Yep.
And then another 8, so...
Exactly. Well, 15-ish
18.
hours.
I'm sorry.
Oh, another 11. Okay,
11
yeah. I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
18 hours without anything.
Exactly.
So you can only wonder what the heck's happening in 18 hours, that they are not trying their phone at all.
Right. And then I
actually didn't even realize it was that long.
There was another phone call the next day after that 11 a.m. phone call.
Yeah.
4 hours later, or 3 hours later, around 2 o'clock, they make another attempt to call 911 or 112.
Yeah.
They don't have service out there.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about this just the other day, didn't we? Where I thought even if you didn't have service, you could still make emergency calls.
Yeah, we were talking about that because we were watching a show.
True. Mm-hmm. And I think there are, more modern days have, satellite calls that they can make in that kind of situation. But I don't know if you don't have service, if you can actually make a phone call.
Also depends where you are in the world, I'm sure, too.
Right, and so they didn't have service here. I don't know, even if they had, a satellite phone, if they could make the phone call.
Right, but still an attempt.
Right. So they tried. They called, like I said, 11 a.m. the next day, and then again at 2 p.m. the next day, and they kept turning their phone off in between phone calls.
Yeah, this was one of the creepier parts of this whole thing.
Right. So they kept turning their phone off, and a lot of the idea was, one, to save battery, and two,
which it's all speculation, but you can only guess that's why you would do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then two would be to not why they're turning their phone off, but they knew they were turning their phone off because it wouldn't ping like location services until it would be turned on to then make another phone call.
Yeah.
So they can look at the records and see that, oh, the phone pinged at this point, and then they made a phone call also at the same time.
Yeah.
None of it went through, and then it all disappeared. And then nothing for another 12 hours or 18 hours, whatever it is. So here's the weird thing. So Kris's phone, it was turned on every day at like 10 a.m. How should I say this? So they stopped calling 911 on April 3rd. So 2 days after they went missing. But from April 3rd to April 11th, every day around the 10 o'clock a.m. hour, her phone was turned on.
That's a really long time.
Every day. So yeah, you're talking 10 days out in the forest.
Yeah.
The phone being turned on right around the same time every day.
This is kind of where I get curious about knowing where or what they set off with. How much food and water did they have? Like, if it really is them that is doing this phone activity, then how are they able
surviving?
To say, yeah, and
exactly.
I'm not saying it's impossible, right? There's, who knows the like vegetation out there? I don't know that landscape. I don't know if there's fruits. I don't know if it's easier to survive off the land than it is up here. Maybe there's more fresh water. I don't know, but that's a really long time
to try to survive.
Yeah,
in the wild,
and also a really long time for your phone to survive. Which maybe it was working, them turning their phone on off, obviously, if it survived that long.
For sure. That would definitely help prolong the battery life of it. But that's the thing is, so there was an empty water bottle found in the backpack as well. And we're looking at the dog right now sitting in Kristen's lap, if you guys can see it on YouTube.
I don't think they can, but
he is like passed out.
Doesn't even matter how uncomfortable it is. He's out. Doesn't matter.
I'm sleeping right here.
It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yeah, so they did find a water bottle in the backpack as well. It was an empty water bottle.
This is when they found the water bottle or the backpack months later. 2 months later?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So, kind of what you're saying, it makes you wonder, were they trying to, or I should say there's mixing reports between whether the water bottle was empty or like partially still full.
Still, though.
If they were trying to, if they were still alive. Trying to prolong how much water they
I was going to say, if it was partially empty, why didn't they finish it? Were they cut off by something? If it was empty, was it because they passed away from dehydration? Was it because something intervened?
Did they use, and that was,
you could really take this.
That's one of the things, did they use the water bottle to, drink river water, which back in the day, it was healthier for people to drink alcohol than it was to drink the water.
Right.
And so the bacteria in the water could be what might have done them in.
What time of year were they there? I forget.
It was April.
So probably
Spring-ish.
Pretty warm.
Yeah, warm but rainy.
I don't know how it is here.
April showers, spring, May.
No, not Panama
not
flowers.
In Panama?
No.
Oh, well.
April Panama showers.
That's
I don't know how it works down there. But if it was super hot, I don't know if they were using it because they weren't near a water source to cool down. They could have been using their water for so many reasons. To make something. I don't know if they were trying to make anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that makes you wonder.
Because obviously they didn't set out for multiple days.
Yes,
they probably
exactly.
Didn't have that much
it was
water.
a 6-hour hike that they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
That apparently their stuff ended up, 12 to 18 hours away from that hike.
Yeah.
And so, her phone was being pinged on at 10 a.m. every day until April 11th. So 10 days. And I think when I'm saying this, I'm like, they were alive. They were trying to call 911 just a couple days into being missing while their parents are there in Panama saying, hey, can you help me find my daughters? And yet, like, nothing could be done.
Yeah.
It's just, it kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit, thinking that, like, her family's there looking for them, and they're alive, and they're trying to contact them.
Right.
But it just isn't happening.
Right. First of all, they don't know their parents are there, so they're not trying to call their parents.
No.
Yeah, they probably
Obviously
don't think
emergency.
they can even reach their parents, probably.
Yeah, no, I doubt that.
The last thing they're thinking is my mom can help me in
no, they're just trying to call for emergency services.
Where are they from again? I'm so sorry.
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands. Okay. So, edit that out. So, they're not trying to call their freaking parents.
No.
Because they're like, we're suffering here now.
I'm saying that they're just trying to call emergency services, and their parents are there with emergency services, trying to contact them.
Right, but they're trying to contact two different people, right? Like they're trying to contact the emergency people, but the emergency people are trying to find them. They're not trying to connect the parents to the children.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's what's kind of eerie, though, is that, like, the situation is so dire in both circumstances. If you're them and you're lost out in the wilderness, you're thinking you're going to die.
Yeah.
And if you're the parents and your children are missing in a foreign country, you're thinking that they're dead.
Right.
And so it's such a dire situation.
Well, you're hoping. I feel like parents tend to really. We're not parents, but at least from what I hear from most of these true crime things, is most people really do hold out, and at this point, it's not like so far gone that you think that they're dead.
Right. Even
they
up to,
arrived pretty soon after. There's probably still somewhat hope, but maybe months later, I don't know about that.
Right.
When the backpacks found, but there's also been some. At this point, there's some rumor about who has their phone. Is it really them?
Exactly.
When you're looking back on it, but if it is somebody who came across them, which, correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you don't know either, that there's other people living in the jungle.
Yes.
It's not just
so
them.
there's like tribal people that live throughout.
They would not know how to use a freaking phone.
Right.
And if it is somebody, I mean, maybe they do. I don't really know. If they're living off the land and they're in the jungle, I don't know.
So,
they use a coconut to communicate. I don't know how it works. But if it is somebody that is like a modern day person, I'm using air quotes here. If it is a modern day person and they found their phone, why are they turning it on every day at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.? What is the reason for that? Wouldn't you want to get rid of the phone?
One of the things about the phones, too, and the data that they were able to pull off of it, is that there was a point that the iPhone, Lisanne's iPhone, I believe, the passcode was entered so many times that it locked itself out.
Yeah.
And so at that point, you're wondering, one, could it have been Kris trying to use Lisanne's phone if something were to happen to Lisanne?
Right.
And she's trying to use her phone to whether it's call 911 or whatever it is. Or two, is it somebody else that has access to their phones now that's involved?
Right, that doesn't know the password. But if it is Lisanne trying to get into her phone, is that what you said, right? Lisanne trying to get into Kris.
Kris getting it. Whichever way it is.
Yeah, right. So vice versa, whatever it is. Did they not have the whole emergency, right? Because nowadays when you
nowadays you can just swipe. Phone, you can just hit emergency call or whatever.
So maybe that's not
right. And so that is where I can't remember.
You would think you'd utilize that if you could.
Yeah, exactly. And that is where you kind of wonder why this phone kept being turned on.
Yeah.
Even though it's not being used to call 911 at that point.
Yeah.
It's just being turned on at 10 a.m. every day. Or, in that 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah, because there's really no reason for that unless you're going to use it for something.
Exactly. Now, you could say, if it is Kris or Lisanne, or if it is both of them still alive, if they're saying, you know what, the battery's dying, let's keep moving this way, and every day when the sun comes up or whatever it is, we're going to just check the phone and see if we have service. That could just be what it is. And they're trying to preserve as much batteries as they can, try to get back into civilization, into any civilization.
And they're not going anywhere near it.
Exactly.
But they think they are,
And they're just going, and they're hoping that eventually they'll hit cell service. So I guess when it comes down to it, at the moment, this case is kind of ruled as an accidental death. So they've confirmed that the two girls are dead based on their...
Which honestly probably happens quite a bit out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm going to bring it back now, because this is kind of where the case ends, because there's so many. What's that about? Could it be this? Is there another person involved there that's doing these things for them to make it look like it's them, or just doing these things not realizing that whatever he's doing with their phones doesn't make any sense?
Well, that's what happens when something's unsolved.
Right. There's just a lot of questions.
So many routes.
And I think especially within the last couple of years where true crime has really risen in popularity, because I mean it's been around for decades obviously, but it's very popular now compared to, I feel like,
well, right, I was gonna say, as long as murder's been a thing.
Yeah.
This
Everyone's always been interested in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if, because this is something that only happened 8 years ago, in this time of day, is it in our own nature to think, oh, like something sinister happened out there, that there was maybe these tribal people or somebody out on the trail that saw them? Because what doesn't add up is the fact that the most valuable pieces or articles of belongings that they had, none of it was stolen. None of the money was taken. None of the technology was taken. There's so many things leading
to just accidental, and
yeah.
I think especially if you're people like us, and probably people, if there's anyone even listening to this, or the people that you almost want something to be there,
right?
Because you want a story.
Because it makes it
you want
exactly.
To listen
it makes
to. You want details.
The
you want
next
juicy
HBO
things.
special.
Yeah, exactly. And even if this isn't something that makes it to anything big, I feel like the inner part of you still wants something interesting to be there, and you almost kind of turn things into it. You don't mean to be like, well, that could be something, but there are so many things that we learn later that aren't actually that interesting, that appear to be interesting.
Everything gets sensationalized because you want it to be.
What are the freaking chances of these people, these are random 2 girls, being out on a trail that people hike every day, that some guy's just waiting for 2 chicks to just go beyond the sign that you're not supposed to go beyond, to then wait to attack them and then turn their phone on randomly.
Yeah, it is.
Then keep turning it on every day, and then
if anything,
they turn up with bones and everything's preserved, which that part's still really weird.
Yeah.
The part that their stuff turns up dry.
Which
well,
that
one
could
backpack
just
at
be,
least.
If you have a great backpack. Pay for a great hiking backpack.
Yeah, and I guess we're not there, so we don't know if it was even slightly damp. We don't know. I know that sounds like we're nitpicking, but it could. I mean, it could be a little bit damp. We just weren't there.
Yeah.
When people say like, yeah, the backpack turned up dry, it could be, well, it was pretty much dry. We don't know because there's floods and stuff. I mean, we just don't know. We weren't there.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people, I think everybody who does a podcast on this case looks at the photos of the backpack. And you can't tell how wet something is in a photo.
Right.
I mean,
so I was going to say, especially if the bones are turned up bleached, who knows if the backpack was in the sun? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't, could have been dried. I mean, if it was a backpack good enough to protect the inside of it, and then it dried.
I think it said it was JanSport. Is that just like a weird thing in the back of my mind?
I think that's your elementary school.
Am I pulling that? No, I'm telling you, I remember JanSport
with your Liz
from
Frank.
Hey, I was not the only one with one of those. Listen.
Yeah, I think it is also a situation where, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. You're in a foreign country, and we can feel comfortable out here, even though even here in Western Washington, there's a lot of dangerous animals out there that could easily kill us.
Oh, there's bears and all kinds of stuff
bears,
out here.
mountain lions,
cougars,
When you're out hiking, and these, I guess you could say that they were not seasoned hikers, but more experienced hikers.
Yeah.
They're comfortable with doing stuff on their own, obviously. I mean, and they're young and just trying to have fun.
That's different out there, though. There's heat. That's a whole other element. Heat, water. I don't know where you're going to find a fresh source of water.
They're just saying, hey, let's just go down this trail and then let's see where it goes. If it doesn't go anywhere in the next, 20 minutes, we'll just head back this way. And if something were to happen down there, whether you get bit by something.
I was going to say, there's
you just
all
fall.
kinds of stuff down there. Spiders,
I've never
snakes.
fallen on a hike. but I've heard it happens.
He's lying, everybody. He almost fell off of a cliff.
Actually,
that's
though,
a story for another
ate
time.
Shit one time.
Anyway, another time.
Yeah, I think they probably got a little overzealous and decided to.
Yeah, but that could have obviously no one's setting out to go on this crazy adventure and end up deceased.
Yeah,
that's so easy. I mean, we've done some stuff where we are somewhere we're like, you know what, let's just go a little bit further.
Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. And it ends up okay because we're not in the freaking jungle. Yeah, we're not in the rainforest. There's not tarantulas and freaking anacondas. Yeah,
and when in doubt, we can be like, the parking lot's this direction.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll just like GPS it. Thank God we live where we live. But yeah, if you get a little too adventurous in the wrong spots, these things happen. And especially, I know in 2014 you said?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem super long ago, but as far as technology-wise, if you're looking for something to save you or help you,
existed in
listen. If you're looking for something to save you or help you, you're a little bit before the time, where things could really help you out.
Drones, handheld drones weren't a thing. I mean, they were thousands of dollars.
Unfortunately, you were a little adventurous before the time to save you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that's
which
just,
is unfortunate.
That is, I think, the lesson of this situation or this case is,
which sucks because how many people out there have been adventurous and been in other countries and decide let's do this crazy thing and they end up fine, but in this case it just didn't work out.
And I can't be one to sit here and say, hey, if you're ever out down there in Panama hiking the El Pianista Trail,
how many people have done that
don't
trail?
go on the back trails because it's like how many people
who even
do that
knows what
and
happens?
Nothing bad happens. So
who even knows?
It's unfortunate, but what's
just
not unfortunate,
just like all these
is today's sponsor. My name's Riley from True. Oh,
I don't.
No.
Do you know what a sponsor is?
Yes, I know what a sponsor is, but
so why do you keep saying your name?
You
are not our sponsor.
What I'm doing is training the listeners for when we do have sponsors.
No,
they gotta be ready for those breaks.
Our dog doesn't know any tricks. We're not capable of training anything or anyone.
That's true, but he is from Mexico. Anyways, I think that's it.
I think that's it. You did skip over the banter part of today. I don't know if we can save that for next time.
If you guys want to know why, it's because she said, and by she I mean Kristen. She said,
interested.
"How about we just get into it?
Yeah,
start talking about murder. That's what they're here for."
Well, in this case, we don't know if it's murder or not.
Right.
But death. I don't know if we want to make
presumed death.
Yeah, I mean
they're definitely...
No, definitely. Right. We know that. But we just don't know what it was. But for sure the next one, I'm not going to promise anything.
No, we've got...
But the next one's going to be a little bit...
Bantery,
but also a little bit more... Am I allowed to swear?
Fuck no.
Okay, so it's going to be a little bit more fucked up. The next one's going to be more fucked up. But I'm not going to say gruesome. Like, we're not going to talk about, like, tearing limbs, But this one was a little bit... shrouded in mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is one
lighthearted.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And this is one that, like you said, you think about this often, and I think it was a good one to, I guess, introduce
the pictures and the cell phones, and it's just weird.
It is.
If it isn't the girls, why? And if it is the girls, what happened?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
There's so many cases that we say what happened.
And it could just be the simplest of things where they just got turned around.
It wasn't even that long ago.
Maybe nothing happened. They just got turned around and lost,
It really is. I think it is the more... I know 2014 isn't super recent because there's been more weird cases that have happened more recently. But it still is recent enough in the technology realm that you're like, what the heck? Like,
iPhone 4S.
Yeah, you hear about these cases from the 70s and 80s when there's no cell phones. You're like, okay, that makes sense why they couldn't call for help.
Calling
but
from
in this case,
and then pinging from what payphone to the next payphone.
Yeah, and they're on like,
Yeah, that's weird. Well, how did you like your first podcast?
I really liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this actually was a lot longer than we were planning to, but I think that's just how this goes. The dog attempts to take the headphones off your head.
He's telling us it's time to be done, and it's bedtime.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. In conclusion, I really liked it. I don't really care if anyone else liked it.
I did.
Sorry.
I did too. And I can't wait for the next one. Hopefully we can get a next one out sooner than episode 5 to episode 6.
Do you want to choose the next one? Do you want me to choose it?
You know what? We can discuss that off the air.
Okay, well, rock, paper, scissors, AK, I'll do it.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I think Spotify now allows people to rate podcasts.
Yeah. And if you didn't really like it, I don't give a shit.
Fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
Fuck the
Fuck off. Jump off a cliff, whatever.
That's right.
Bye.
Go hike. Go take a hike.
Okay. Too soon. Okay.
Yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I guess rate it on Spotify
or
whatever.
And if not, whatever.
Yeah.
Meet me outside, parking lot.
How about that?
I'm off after this. See you outside.
All right. Well, I'm Riley. That is Christian over there.
That's what they call me.
This has been True Crime Banter. And we will talk to you in the next one.
Bye.
Adios.